Seamus Sherlock's going to say a few words. This is especially important to listen to this man because the words he has to say are very wise. So thanks a million for turning up to listen to Seamus. Thank you.
Hi lads, thanks a million. Listen, first of all anyway, I'd like to thank the lads here for inviting us up from County Limerick to say a few words. Listen, yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Listen lads, this all started for me in 2010. I'm living down in County Limerick and a lot of people were having bother with their ESB bill. And at the time ESB were disconnecting 30 people a day that were making a genuine effort to pay their bills. No politician had listened. So one morning I got up and I went to Dublin with a chain, one padlock, one Egypt. And I chained myself to the main gate. People in this country think one man can't do anything. No one can do anything. It took 3 hours for the ESB to agree to stop disconnecting 30 people a day. In 3 weeks we had electricity back for 3,300 people. In 3 months we had nearly 250,000 people signed up to the household budget plan because I stayed chained until they agreed to do something to help the ordinary people. So just remember that folks, when people say we can't do anything, there's not enough in it. We call that the power of one. One man done that, not me, but one Irishman. And that's what it's about, lads, okay? Now lads, after that I formed a group called Life After Death, DEBT. And another one of the lads came with me today, Pat, and I want to thank Pat for coming up with me today. Basically, we're a free service, lads. We help people that's in financial bother. And at the moment, we're getting about 30 calls a day from ordinary people, housewives, husbands, self-employed men, unemployed men, that are in terrible financial difficulty with the banks and with credit unions and with credit cards. And they have nobody to turn to. So, due to the fact that I was self-employed myself for 21 years and 2 years ago lost everything, I decided to face the banks myself and I took on the banks myself and I'm still here. And they didn't drive me out of my home yet. I have a very simple message for each and every one of you here today. There's only one way you leave your home and that's if you walk out of it. And don't mind the government and everyone else talking about evictions. Nobody's evicted out of their home in this house, in this country, unless you actually walk out the door. When the sheriff arrives to your door, he has the Gardaí with him. They're there to protect him, not to throw you out of your home. So I'm telling you, if every single one of you go home with that message, there's only one way they'll get you out of your homes, and that's if you walk out. You understand? Stay in your homes. And now I just want to talk a small bit about dealing with financial institutions. Every single day, including yesterday, I have housewives ringing me telling me there's debt collectors at the door, there's sheriffs at their door. Most of that behaviour is actually illegal. And when we get on the case for you and we deal with these banks, these debt collectors don't be seen anymore. Because a debt collector, lads, is a third party. And unless you agree to sign a contract to let them talk to you, they have no jurisdiction to be at your door. So when they turn up at your door, show them the gate and tell them to get the hell out. Now lads, I just want to talk about Life After Death. We have a Facebook page called Life After Death, DEBT. Seamus Sherlock is written after it. If any ever need a bit of hand with anything, lads, if you go on that page, there's contact details for us on it, okay? And no matter whether you owe a credit card bill or you owe a mortgage or whatever, we have template letters that we can send out to you that you can just add your name and that too. And believe me lads, we are getting great success with them at the moment. We also go into court and represent people free of charge. It's hard to get around to help everyone, but what we do is talk to people and get them to help themselves, because at the end of the day, you don't really need help. You can do better yourselves than any solicitor or any barrister can do for you. You just have to stand up for yourselves. And lads, for the last few days in the media, we've been listening about this so-called scandal of Bertie P. Flynn and the rest of that scattered crew. Well, let me tell you something, that scandal is 20 years old. We knew for years this scandal was coming. But there's a bigger scandal here at the moment. The financial institutions are absolutely driving people into the ground every single day in this country because the government are allowing them to do it. But I have a message for the financial institutions. They won't do it to me. Do you understand? They won't do it to me. And I ask every single one of you to look out for your neighbour, look out for your friend. Some people are tougher than more, some people aren't able for it. But just go talk to your neighbours, there's no shame in it anymore. Nobody owes money because most of it is because of what the government allowed the banks to do. Speculating, and they were just acting the pure pup for years and they got away with it because there's no one looking after us, the ordinary people. But I'm telling you, there's only one person going to look after us, lads, and that's ourselves. Don't mind solicitors, don't mind any of it. I'm in courts every single day and I'm well able to stand up to a judge because at the end of the day we have our own rights. We have a constitution. You understand? I just want to talk to small big lads about being in debt. I know I was 21 years self-employed and 2 years ago I lost everything through probably no fault of my own like most people. And every single day, 70% of the people that contact me actually have a job. The working class people of this country are the new poor lads. Don't make any mistake about it. The unemployed have very little, but they know what they have. But those working class people cannot make ends meet at the moment because the government are charging them more and more. And this is another one of it, this other €100 and the septic tank on top of it. That's only the start, lads. I can guarantee you, within 3 years, it won't be €100, it'll be €1,000. For anyone that signs up to it, it'll be €1,000 a household. Well, I for one won't pay it. Just getting back to the kind of people that every working class person is in the same shoes. Don't anybody here think that they're alone because your neighbours, your next door neighbour, everybody around you living in the town, in the housing estate, 90% of people are in financial debt at the moment. Most of it through no fault of their own. Sold houses that were 3 times too dear for a speculator to make money. Well lads, it's time we took a stand now and said enough is enough. And I urge anyone that's in financial bother not to put their head in the sand. Get up and face it like I did face it. Come on to Life After Death's page and we'll help you. Or go to your friends and just go into courts, lads, and fight this the whole way because let me tell you something. The banks aren't as tough as they think they are when we stand up to them. Just on a sad note, lads, everywhere I go I always say it. In 2011, I buried 5 of my friends to suicide. Now I'm not going to say the whole 5 of them couldn't give up the fight because of financial stress, but I can guarantee you most of it was down to financial stress. And I made one pledge, the 1st of January, I'm not burying 5 more friends in 2012. You understand? No way. Again, lads, I'd just like to thank the organisers. What I said to the lads a minute ago is, 50 people here in this square is more important to this town than 5,000 people in Dublin. People should be in their own squares, look after their own towns, look after your own people, lads. When I chained myself in Dublin at DSB, they came out and they offered me free electricity for life if I went away home. Now I told them what they could do with their free electricity. But I'll tell you about politicians. I told the politician that story in the Dail since, and he told me I was a bloody fool, that he would have took that electricity. And that's why this country is the way it is, lads. Now lads, again I'd like to thank the organisers for inviting me up. We have a page there, Life After Death, Seamus Sherlock. There's contact details on it. I mightn't be able to get back to you for maybe 4 or 5 working days, but I give you my word, I'll get back to you. And another thing, lads, the local lads here have invited me to come up in a month and talk to them again so that we might get a group going in this area. And let the people of Louth look after the people of Louth, lads. And on that note, lads, I'll say farewell and I'll head for County Limerick, and thanks a million, okay?